This is human rights lawyer and activist Dele Farotimi being paraded in court in handcuffs like a common criminal. Dele Farotimi's only crime is being a Nigerian, speaking against bad government, criticizing rascality and impunity, speaking against the criminal justice system we have in Nigeria, calling for electoral reforms. This is Yaya Bello, the former governor of Kogi State, who was charged by the EFCC for 110 billion naira fraud, being escorted by the same EFCC to court, walking freely with no handcuff. The reason why Dele Farotimi is in prison is because he wrote about the criminal justice system in Nigeria. He talked about how the justice system in Nigeria serves only the purpose of the rich while turning a blind eye to the poor and average Nigerian. He talked about how the justice system in Nigeria is being compromised by the high and mighty. Everything that Dele Farotimi wrote in his book is what is playing out. It's all about power play. They are simply telling him, we have the power to do anything to you, we can put you in prison, we can handcuff you, we can treat you like a common criminal, and absolutely nothing will be done about it. And exactly is what they are doing to him because they know nothing will be done about it. Dele Farotimi was remanded in prison for a case that is not a criminal offense. However, he has been granted bail of 50 million naira and the case has been adjourned to 29th of January 2025. We will talk about the criminal justice system in Nigeria in a bit, but let us look at another developing story. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 presidential election, Mr. Peter Obi, has paid a visit to Babalola in Ekiti State. Mr. Peter Obi held a private discussion with Babalola. The content of their discussion is unknown, after which he proceeded to the Ekiti State Correctional Facility to see Dele Farotimi, where he held another discussion with him. Sahara Reporters is reporting that Mr. Peter Obi went to Ekiti State to beg Babalola to release Dele Farotimi, but like I said, the content of their discussion is unknown. And of course, we all know that Showere runs Sahara Reporter, so he can use it to spin any narrative about Mr. Peter Obi. You need to understand that Dele Farotimi is someone that loves Mr. Peter Obi, and Mr. Peter Obi loves him. As a matter of fact, he was a presidential spokesperson of Mr. Peter Obi in the 2023 presidential election. Mr. Peter Obi will do everything within his power to ensure that Dele Farotimi regain his freedom, even if it means going to beg the person that reminded him in custody. It is important to note that Nigerian justice system is messed up. The high and the mighty can mess you up anytime. They can take your life away from you and nothing will be done about it. Therefore, I've seen nothing wrong in what Mr. Peter Obi has done so far, like so many persons are spinning it on social media, especially Showere. Showere is an activist. He sees an opportunity of impunity to shine. Of course, he's planning a protest. Whenever there is a protest, that is when Showere's name is always mentioned. And you need to know that Showere wants the country to remain the way it is so that he can remain relevant. All the protests he has held in this country has not yielded any meaningful result. Rather, it has led to more deaths and casualties to innocent Nigerians. For Showere, protest is his only way to remain relevant. So I see and I understand the reason why he's angry that Mr. Peter Obi has interfered in the case between Dele Farotimi and Babalola. Mr. Peter Obi wants to resolve it amicably. You also need to understand that Mr. Peter Obi is very close to Babalola. Whatever the case is, Dele Farotimi needs to regain his freedom and the fight for the soul of Nigeria continue. To have a Nigeria that is fair to everyone, we need someone that understands rule of law, someone that understands what it means for the judiciary to be competent and independent. As it stands now, the current crop of politicians will never give us a fair and just Nigeria. So we have to do everything possible to manage the situation so that none of us will get killed, including Dele Farotimi. So many persons have died fighting for the soul of this country without getting any positive result. You have someone like Gani Fayemi, you have someone like Dele Giwa, and of course Dele Farotimi wrote a book, Do Not Be Caught in Their War. Yes, do everything possible not to be caught in their wars, because the Nigerian justice system has become a contradiction where the powerful walk freely despite overwhelming allegations, while the ordinary citizens, the activists, those that are holding the government accountable, those that are calling for reforms in this country face swift and humiliating treatment, just the same thing that Dele Farotimi is going through. In Nigeria, the law exists in two forms, one for the privileged political elite and the other for the ordinary citizens, the activists and the journalists. Those who dare to challenge the establishment, those who dare to speak truth to power, those who question corrupt practices, they often found themselves victims of a criminalized justice system. In our very eyes, civil matters like defamation are suddenly treated like a criminal case, and offenders are paraded in front of cameras, handcuffed just to humiliate and intimidate them. Dele Farotimi case exemplifies this ugly scenario. An activist renowned for his critical views on government policies and his calls for justice and accountability, Dele has become a target of the establishment. Dele Farotimi alleged offense of defamation is a civil matter and does not in any way warrant the humiliating display of being handcuffed. But yet, he was marched into the courtroom as someone guilty of a heinous crime. This further reinforces Nigerian state's tendency to suppress dissent and vilify critics, something that Dele Farotimi wrote in his book that landed him in trouble. But look at Yaya Bello, the former governor of Kogi State, someone who was elected by the people to utilize their resources, but he has been embroiled in allegation of looting over 110 billion naira of the public funds. Money that could have been used to alleviate poverty, money that could have been used to build infrastructure, money that could have been used to improve education and enhance healthcare in the state. Despite the weight of these allegations, Yaya Bello was ushered into the courtroom by those that were meant to persecute him. He was untouched, he was unshackled, and his dignity was intact. Contrast in the Nigerian justice system is not coincidental. It reflects the ingrained culture of impunity that shields politicians and high-profile individuals from the consequences of their actions. The Nigerian justice system for a long time have always shown soft spot for political elites and those with influence. When was the last time you heard that a corrupt politician was jailed? All you need to do as a corrupt politician in this country is to decamp to the ruling party and all your sins will be forgiven. Corruption cases involving billions of naira are often met with a nonchalant response, endless adjournment, frivolous appeals, and delays designed to frustrate prosecution. The Nigerian law that are supposed to bind all citizens equally are manipulated to shield the powerful while oppressing the weak. Look at what Dele Farotimi is going for, a civil matter, a civil case that does not warrant any criminal offenses. The message that the Nigerian justice system is sending is very clear. It shows wealth and power buy not only influence but immunity from accountability. This is the reason why you see politicians in this country want to hold on to power and wealth at all costs, even if it means taking out the life of their opponent. They will do it just to hold on to power and life at the detriment of the development of this country. Ordinary citizens accused of petty crimes, many of them are yet to be proven guilty by a court of competent jurisdiction. They are subjected to public shaming, experience prolonged detention, and judgments are hurriedly passed on them. Dele Farotimi is experiencing a justice system that has been weaponized to silence dissent. The wealthy and the mighty, the influencials, the politicians, they are now using allegations of defamation, cyber staking, and threats to national security as a tool to harass journalists, whistleblowers, and critics of government actions. Civil matters are now being criminalized, and the accused are paraded like common criminals. All this appears to be calculated acts of intimidation. Their intentions are very clear. They want to create fear and discourage others from speaking up. Unlawfully detaining someone like Dele Farotimi, who is a lawyer, the government is simply sending a very clear message that criticizing the government policies, no matter how bad it is, will not be tolerated. These guys want to continue ruling with impunity. They want to continually plunder the nation's resources without making any effort to develop the country, to alleviate the suffering of Nigerians which they created. They want to continue in their political rascality without being held accountable by the people. We must not give them the chance to do what they want to do. We must not give them a breathing space. We must hold this government accountable. They are subjected to the laws of the land and the Nigerian people. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.